Ciao and welcome to 15 with Fosca, the podcast where we talk about Italy, all things Italian, and taking the leap to make your dream of building a life for yourself in Italy or in the US a reality. Sometimes it'll just be me responding to your questions or talking about topics that are of interest to Italy lovers in general, but often I will be hosting special guests who will work with me through the intricacies of Italian culture, share their stories, and discuss the challenges and triumphs that have accompanied them on their paths to Italy. Since I'm also your US insider in Italy, we'll be talking about how Italians can best prepare for their academic and cultural journeys to my home country. So thank you for tuning in to Ask Fosca's 15 with Fosca. Cominciamo. Buongiorno mondo, and welcome back to 15 with Fosca, the podcast. Today I'll be flying solo to give you some food for thought on building community, meeting locals and fellow expats, and finding your people in Italy. I'm also celebrating 10 episodes of 15 with Fosca, and while this may seem like an easy feat, it is a true labor of love, and I'm so grateful to you, my listeners, my wonderful guests, and my behind-the-scenes cheerleaders. It has been a great ride so far, and the fall is going to bring some absolutely incredible guests, so hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a beat. So, many of my clients and expats I encounter in Florence ask me for advice on how to find community when living in Italy as a foreigner. I really can only speak for Florence, but I spend a lot of time talking to people both on and off the air and frequently hear the words loneliness and isolation being uttered. I also hear expression of both a desire and a need for deep and sincere human interactions right now. Now, I also know that these sentiments are even more jarring and painful when you're far away from the familiarity of home and are living your life in another language and culture. It is always a delicate balancing act, living life suspended between two or more places like a trapeze artist. And even if you have left home by choice, that doesn't mean there won't be challenges. But remember, finding and building community, locating your people, it starts with you, and you need to be enterprising and a little courageous. I joke with people that in 2023, I made two decisions. One most definitely major. I left my position at Stanford and Florence after 23 years. And the other, seemingly minor, I changed tennis pro and club. Now, I love tennis, but up until about 2 years ago, I had never tried it in a serious way, preferring the solitude of running, which I began to do when infertility was weighing really heavily on me and my ex-husband. Now, while sadly I don't run anymore, I am an avid walker, but I'm also very high energy, so I also need to play tennis for maybe my brain more than anything else, but it also keeps me in shape and makes me happy. So having said that, the first year I played here at a club in Florence, nobody spoke to me beyond saying an unenthusiastic and forced buongiorno. And the only person who spoke to me was my pro. And while I liked him, I really, really liked him as a person, I never felt a sense of belonging there. I never met anyone, and I also saw that my game was not improving, and that might be a direct consequence of that feeling that I had of not really belonging. Anyway, I knew my friend Elena played tennis and that she was really happy with the club, her pro, and the other members. So I went to a couple of social events there as her plus one. We also played a couple of times together, and I decided about a year ago that I wanted to join the club and start lessons. I have found two incredible maestri, one of whom has become a very close friend and a true mentor to me, and I also hit the jackpot with the other members. Everyone I have met at the club so far has been warm, open, and interesting. I have made new friends, as well as new business partners, clients, and collaborators. But let's get back to the major life decision, which brought with it some other unexpected benefits and surprises. So I have always wanted to do volunteer work. And unfortunately, between raising a child pretty much on my own and with family very far away and a pretty demanding job, I didn't feel like I had the time or the bandwidth to do it. But last spring, a friend of a friend, who has since become a friend, recruited me to volunteer for an incredible not-for-profit organization called Progetto Ithaca, which was founded in Milan in 1999 and has branches in other Italian cities. Part of their mission, and I'm really synthesizing here, is to raise awareness around mental health and to destigmatize it as well in contemporary Italian society's eyes. So I encourage you to check out their website, which you'll find in the description. And I'll be dedicating a future episode entirely to them and to the incredible work that they're doing at this critical moment in history. And the work that they are doing spans from raising awareness and disseminating information to helping on so many levels and in so many ways those who are suffering. I've already done some service for them, but my official volunteer training begins this week, and I just can't wait. So the people I've met there so far are incredibly dedicated, empathetic, and passionate about the work that they do, and it has been incredibly inspiring for me. And remember, even if you don't speak Italian, so many volunteer associations need your help. Remember, you probably have skills that might very well be in demand. And honestly, most volunteer organizations sometimes just need an extra set of hands. And I often hear people say that they have no time, and I'm certainly guilty of that too. But if you want to find your people, that support network, those deep connections, you need to get out there and invest time and energy in something that will bring you closer to the culture. So I want to move on to another couple of ways that I have found to be really helpful in terms of finding community, especially if you have kids. If you have kids and they're enrolled in an international school, I think it's a little easier because English is the common language. There might be shared backgrounds in that, a lot of people who attend international schools might, move around every few years. But if your kids are attending Italian schools, whether they be public or private, you might encounter some difficulty feeling connected to other parents because of a language barrier. So I think my experience personally was incredibly positive when Jada was in elementary school, and then relationships with parents sort of start to die out in middle school. But in elementary school, there is a lot of community. And so something that I would encourage those of you out there who have kids to do would be to really get involved with the school. And I did that. And yes, it's work, but it was very rewarding for me to feel that connected to other parents and to be a part of also really creating a community in an active way. And the way I did that was I became, those of you who are familiar with Italy and the Italian school system, is you always have what's called the rappresentante di classe. And I think in like a U.S. Situation, it would be like a class parent type of thing. So I had to attend all these meetings and I collect money for things. And but I also took initiative beyond that and I think it was because I was a working, mostly single mom, I kind of felt guilty about that. And so I wanted to give something, I don't know, I wanted to help create community. And so what I did beyond those duties of being just whatever the class parent is, I organized, I don't know, like aperitivi for the moms. I would organize a holiday party for all the kids and parents at my house. And then in the spring, I would organize a picnic at a local park so that we could all just like hang out and spend this time together. And I have to say that moment in time was very special because I had just separated, and maybe I felt like, even though I didn't recognize it at the moment, I think I kind of knew deep inside that I needed that community. And it was interesting because what I did find, and something that I haven't really found since in that really deep a way, and I think it has something to do with having small children, is that I found a lot of other single moms and single parents. And so we really helped each other. So I was maybe, people knew that Monday through Friday I was working all the time, but I would always happily take kids, over the weekend for a sleepover or, do whatever I could to help other parents who had similar time constraints and who were dealing with those difficult things you have to deal with when you're trying to work and raise a child who's happy and healthy and also kind of adjust to a new life. So for me, that community, that network became so critical to my survival and to my happiness. And it's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. My daughter's already in her third year of high school. And, as I said, I tried in middle school. I remember I had I was now that I realize that I was the class parent for all of middle school too. But then in high school, I couldn't do it anymore. It just, it became too much. But, having that kind of direct rapport with other parents, being vested in your kids' education, engaging with other parents socially and also just even informally outside of school. That's something that stops happening basically here in a city like Florence. At least for my reality, that stopped after day one at middle school. I really didn't have any interaction with the other parents beyond our WhatsApp group. Anyway, all of this to say that I was thinking recently, and I always joke with my friends from that time about how I miss that age and how I miss that time, because it really was such a magical time, because we did create a beautiful community of people who were helping each other. And it was an international community. And that felt really good too, because there were a lot of kids that were half Italian, half something else. There were kids who were 100% Italian, whatever that means. And then there were also kids who were first generation Italians. And so it was just a really cool mix of kids and parents. And there, though, as I said, I invested in that. And sometimes investing in that is something as simple as, going out, offering to, take another parent out for coffee, or proposing a drink night or some kind of bonding activity where the kids can run around and have fun, but also the parents can get to know each other a little better. And Italian schools are also really good at that. There's always sort of like a class dinner. There's always a lot of stuff going on. So there are those occasions to create community also if you have small children. And I know that when you have kids, and maybe you're not only doing it in another country, but especially if you're out there and you're on your own, there are so many things going on that it is really helpful to have locals who can guide you through that and to have that support network. So I hope that some of these little stories that I've told today have been of help in finding community and building community and really creating community. And remember that you are agents of your destiny. So if you want, go out and do it so that you can have those meaningful encounters with people around shared interests. So take care of yourself. Take care of others, and I really believe the rest will follow. Thanks again for tuning in to 15 with Fosca. Grazie mille, e alla prossima. This is Ask Fosca, your U.S. insider in Italy, signing off for now. Thank you for listening, and I hope you'll continue to join in on our conversations. Please also check out my website, askfosca.com, and follow me at Ask Fosca on social media for updates, news, advice, and upcoming podcasts. I would also love to hear directly from you, so DM or email me your topic suggestions for future 15 with Fosca podcasts. Grazie mille e alla prossima volta. Ciao ciao.